Have you ever had a moment where life took an unexpected turn, forcing you to stop and pay attention? Picture this: a businessman is cruising along in his car, wrapped up in the hustle and bustle of his day. Without warning, a brick comes flying out of nowhere, slamming hard into his car door. The force of the impact jolts him, leaving him shocked and angry. He slams on the brakes, jumps out of the car, and confronts the closest person in sight: a young boy. The boy, scared yet polite, faces the furious man. In the midst of his fear, his manners don't forsake him. He tries to explain, his voice trembling, eyes welling up with tears. He says, "I had to throw bricks because no one else would stop to ask for my help." This unexpected incident, this abrupt halt in the businessman's busy day, becomes a moment of profound realization. Sometimes the most desperate pleas for help come from the most unexpected places. The boy, trembling with fear, musters the courage to explain his desperate act. "My brother, he's fallen from his wheelchair," the boy stammers, pointing to a figure on the ground nearby. His voice cracks as he continues, "He's hurt, and I couldn't lift him back up." The businessman's initial shock and anger rapidly dissolve, replaced by a flood of concern and empathy. He looks at the boy, then at the figure on the ground, and the reality of the situation sinks in. The brick, the damaged car door, they all fade into insignificance against the backdrop of a child's desperate plea for help. His heart aches as he sees the fear in the boy's eyes, the helplessness in his voice. The boy's simple, earnest request echoes in his ears: "Could you help me get him back in his wheelchair? He's injured and too heavy for me." In that moment, the businessman realizes that the boy had not thrown the brick in malice, but out of sheer desperation. A desperate act to draw attention to a desperate situation, a plea for help, thrown out into the world, hoping that someone, anyone, would stop and listen. With a heavy heart, he quickly lifted the other boy from the ground and put him back in the wheelchair. In a world full of hustle and bustle, sometimes it takes a moment of stillness to truly see what's important. In this whirlwind of a day, the businessman found himself stopping, not for a meeting or a deal, but for a young boy in need. With a gentle strength, he lifted the boy back into his wheelchair, his hands steady and sure. He took the time to tend to the boy's injuries, his touch as tender as if he were caring for his own. The boy, his eyes wide with gratitude, could only muster a heartfelt, "Thank you, sir." His voice was a whisper, but it carried the weight of 1,000 unspoken words. The businessman, caught off guard by the sincerity in the boy's voice, simply nodded. "And God bless you," the boy added, his voice full of hope and relief. As the businessman returned to his car, the boy's words of thanks echoed in his ears. "Thank you, sir, and God bless you." Sometimes the most significant lessons in life come from the most unexpected moments. In the aftermath of the startling incident, the businessman stood, staring at the damage inflicted on his car. A dent, a bulge, a mark, a stark reminder of the sudden, jarring halt. But instead of feeling a surge of anger or frustration, he found himself immersed in a profound realization. He chose not to repair the car. He decided to let the dent remain, not as a scar, but as a reminder, a lesson learned in the most unconventional way. The dent in the car door served as a symbol, a constant echo of the incident, reminding him not to speed through life without paying heed to the world around him. It stood as a testament to the importance of pausing, of being aware and attentive to the needs of others. The moral of this story reverberates beyond the confines of this incident. It's a lesson about life itself. In our relentless pursuit of goals, ambitions, and dreams, we often forget to slow down. We ignore the whispers of life, the subtle signs urging us to pause, to reflect, to lend a helping hand, to be human. But life has its ways of getting our attention. If we don't listen to the whispers, life might just throw a brick. It's our choice, really, to tune into the whispers of life or to wait for the brick. It is our choice to hear the whisper or wait for the brick.